Hello, everybody. My name is Bolan Ragbalao, aka Encrypt Mindset. Welcome on the show today. I created this show because a lot of people are broke, and I don't want you to be one of them. And through my journey in life, I've met a lot of amazing people. And one of the things I want to do on this platform is to be able to share those amazing people with you and their philosophies of life and also for you to be able to learn some valuable lessons from them. And today on the show, I have no other person than my very good mentor, Adebayo Emmanuel. He's been mentoring me now for like 6 years, and I just feel the need to share him with the world. Welcome on the show.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here.
Yeah. So I think the first thing would be that you introduce yourself and let people know at least something about you.
Thank you very much. My name is Emmanuel Adebayo. I am an adolescent health expert. I currently work as a lecturer at the University of Ibadan Institute of Child Health, where I teach adolescent health and development. Aside from being a lecturer, I am an ardent believer in policy development and implementation. So one of the things I do is development of policies and ensuring implementation of these policies. I work with international organizations like World Health Organization, World Bank, UNICEF, UNFPA at global and national level to see to development and implementation of policies that relate to adolescent health. But most importantly, one of the things I enjoy doing the most, as shown by being on this channel right now, is I enjoy passing on knowledge. I guess that is why I'm a lecturer.
Absolutely.
I enjoy taking in knowledge and passing it on.
Mm.
Yeah, it's one of the things I do. And so aside from being a researcher and a lecturer on adolescent health, I actually take time to work with adolescents and young people, helping them to navigate the very interesting course of life.
Mm.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for being here. I think the only difference between what we are doing right now and what we normally do is that there's camera
There's
here,
camera.
because we normally just like I normally just come to him and he helps me with a lot of questions I have about life, and really believe in the concept of standing in the shoulder on the shoulder of giants, people that have gone ahead of you, like 10 years, 20 years ahead of you. It saves you a lot of time, a lot of effort, energy
Mm,
you would have just wasted doing trial and error.
yeah.
So I have some questions here that that I usually come to you with. All right,
Okay.
this time around.
Shoot.
So the first question I would love to ask is, do you believe there is a connection between happiness, or let me say fulfillment, and productivity?
Fulfillment and productivity. I'd say yes. And I think it's a bi-directional
Okay.
relationship. Productivity can lead to fulfillment. Fulfillment can also lead to productivity.
Okay.
I mean, and so yes, I would say that there is a very, very direct relationship between the two, but that relationship is both ways. It's bi-directional.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, because one of my mentors, actually, one of the people I listen to, Jim, he says that if you're not producing something, it's
Mm.
very hard for you to be happy.
True. I absolutely agree with that. I mean, and that's why sometimes people have discredited the industry of working for someone,
Mm,
getting a job. People talk about it like it's a terrible thing to get a job, but I don't think so. I think the problem with getting a job is a lot of people are not producing anything.
mm.
It's just wake up in the morning, go to job, come back in the evening. And so the life becomes dreary, dry, emotionless. It just becomes there. And that's why it looks like that getting a job is horrible. No, it's not. It's producing something. What are you doing? And sometimes for some people, production is not necessarily in the area of their career or in the area of where they work. Sometimes the production is coming out of something else. I mean, they have like a passion they pursue outside a job. Sometimes the job is just to help you put food on the table.
Mm.
That's all it is. But then you have something else you're pursuing with passion. But you see a lot of people, and sometimes, I mean, I'm getting off point a little here, but
No,
it gets irritating. Permit my use of words. Sometimes you see someone who is doing a day job, and all that job requires of them is to be in one spot.
mm,
So, for
mm,
example, you're a security officer. You work in a place, and your job is essentially be in one place. There are several things you can do being in that one place,
Yeah.
other than just being there. But a lot of people, what do? They be there and do nothing else. And so you spend 8 hours on that same spot doing one thing when you could have been doing two, three things on at that same spot. I mean, but sometimes people do not think about productivity. People think about earning.
Mm, mm.
I mean, it's even the same mindset for a lot of people that call themselves entrepreneurs. They're not thinking about producing, they're actually thinking about earning. They're thinking about making the next million, they're thinking about making the next billion. But the cost question is, have you thought about the next production, the next value that you want to give to
To
get
the
to the
marketplace.
marketplace
Mm.
to get something in return? But most times people are just thinking about earning, people are thinking about getting, not giving. Because with productivity, there has to be the mindset of giving.
Yeah.
If you don't have a mindset of giving, it's difficult to be a producer of anything, really.
Mm. You believe that the amount of money that you get paid is in direct proportion to how much value you offer
You offer,
to the
yeah,
marketplace.
yeah. And I mean, it's difficult to say that the amount of money you get paid, because for one, I am paid less, way less
Yeah,
than the value I provide
yeah,
in academic.
yeah.
However, one I remember 2010, I had written in my journal that by 2015 there was an amount I wanted to have the capacity to earn. I mean, looking back now, I was wondering, what was I thinking? So I wasn't thinking about the amount I wanted to earn. I was thinking about the amount I had the capacity to
Mm,
earn.
mm,
And for me, it's different. Those are two different things. The amount I want to earn is different from the amount of capacity that I have. I can be earning £1 million, but I have capacity to earn five.
yeah.
The truth is, there are very few people who earn the capacity they have, who earn at the capacity they have. Some people are earning less, some people are earning more. It's just life.
Mm,
But the truth is, your capacity, which also comes down to your value, your productivity, has to consistently increase if you're going to ever get increase
mm.
in what you earn and what you achieve.
A question that looks like that: how important is mindset of an individual to achieving, or let's say attaining, success?
As a man thinketh in his heart, so he is.
Mm,
And the mindset is very important. I mean, like they say, um, there's a difference between being broke and being poor.
mm. What's
You
the
can
difference?
you can be broke. That means you don't have money. Poverty is a thing of the mind.
Mm,
It's a thing of the mind. Yeah, you can have all the money in the world, but react and behave like a poor person. I mean, I remember talking to someone once, and the person said, "Oh, so I was saying, guy, dude, you could afford taking instead of going by public transport, you can afford hiring a car to take you to where you're going and look better presentable where you're going. It's important. Your looks are important where you're going. So why not hire a taxi to take you there?" And I was like, "No, I enjoy public transport."
mm.
That's not
That's
true.
poor.
That's not true. You like really? You enjoy being in a car with five other people and somebody spitting or coughing over your head, or you can't wind up. You're passing through dusty place. You're arriving at where you're going with brown powder on your face. I mean, nearly willy giving over being in a car by yourself, AC running, stepping out of the car looking like the boss. Like really,
Mm,
you like down over that. Like guy, you are poor. And it's not about the cash you have at hand, it's about your mind.
mm,
And so for me, the difference is a broke man does not have money. A poor man does not have the mind to make money.
mm. Can you say that again?
A broke man does not have money.
Yeah.
A poor man does not have the mind to make money.
Mm,
So even if they have money, they would lose it. They would never have more. And that's why you see some people early in life, it looks like they've arrived. They have it all. 5, 10 years later, their stories for yesterday.
right. Thank you very much for that answer. So the next thing I would love to ask you, I would love to get your perspective on the concept of success.
Mm.
What does success? What does it mean to you?
Huh. So people define success in different ways, but well, you asked for what does it mean to me. So what success means to me? Huh, that's tricky. I have something bubbling in my head, but it suddenly went out.
Okay.
Well, I mean, generally, I believe that success is defined by what I set out to achieve. So success, my success is defined by my goal. So what was my goal? What did I set out to achieve? That determines whether I am successful or not. For example, I mean, let me say this example. So there's this question we usually ask teenagers when we conduct research amongst them. And then there was this time we had this study in a rural area, students and young boys and girls going to school in a rural area. We asked them, one of the questions we asked was, how wealthy do you think your family is? A, wealthier than most people. B, as wealthy as most people. C, not as wealthy as most people. Majority of the children in rural areas said they were wealthier than most people. The majority of the students in urban centers who were going to private schools said they were not as wealthy as most, as others,
Mm.
or just as wealthy as others. Now, what's the difference? Exposure. What their mind can conceptualize as success, what their mind can conceptualize as wealthy. So you live in an environment where the richest person rides a bicycle, then your father buys a motorcycle. You are wealthier than most people. And that's, for me, that defines what success is also. However, there are general definition for success, and most times I feel like the world defines success by how much money you have in your pocket. The wealthier you are, the more successful you are. I mean, but I wouldn't like to define success as that, because if we do, then it means majority of the people in the world are not successful.
True.
That's not true. I mean, that's not true. We don't all have to be as wealthy as Elon Musk to be successful, because some of us don't even want to be. Some people don't want to be as wealthy as Elon Musk, but you won't say they are not successful. So I would say success is defined individually, and to me, it is defined by what I set to achieve, what
Mm.
my goals were.
Okay. I think another question that looks like it would be, there are a lot of people have like different philosophy of life. Some people believe that you always have to be on the way to something. For
Hmm.
example, I'll tell you what I mean. So let's say I have a goal to make $1 million, and after achieving that goal, you could say I'm successful, right?
Yep.
But deep down, by the time I'm reaching that goal, there's another goal
Yeah.
to reach automatically. Do you
Yeah.
believe in that kind of, like, let's say, goal-driven mindset, such that you are always like aiming for something and you are never like you are never arrived?
Hmm. I think most of us live our lives like that, intentionally or unintentionally. The beauty of it is to live it intentionally.
Yeah.
We're always chasing something, or something is chasing us. I mean, like I like to say to young people that it is either you are working hard to be like your parents, or working hard not to be like your parents. Either way, your parents are influencing your life.
Mm.
And what I'm trying to say is, whether you're working towards a goal or a goal is chasing you, there's something around you. Each time there's something we're pursuing or something that is pursuing us. And I think that most of us live from one goal to the next. And you're right. Sometimes you have a goal in your mind, and by the time you're getting close to achieving that goal, the next thing is your brain is going to what next? I think it's just the way we are hardwired as human beings. Look at flashback to when we were in school. I mean, there was a time the only thing you could think about was WAEC and JAM. I mean, if I can only write WAEC. And then you start getting to SS2, SS3, your mind begins to think beyond WAEC, your mind begins to think of university. And you start telling yourself, if I can only get to university, if I just can breathe. And then you get into university and you're thinking, if I can only get a job. I mean, the mind is always moving on to what next. I remember recently, my wife concluded her PhD, and I asked her, how does it feel? Because the mind just naturally goes to, okay, what's the next mountain to conquer? And so I don't think it is something that we um, how do I put this? I don't think it is something that is a unique thing that, oh, you are the type that moves from goal to goal. I think what is unique and what we will people we will now call successful are people that are now intentional about those things, about those drives. So I am not letting my natural instincts guide me. I am guiding my natural
Mm,
instincts, so to speak.
yeah.
Because naturally, like I said, once you're about to achieve a goal, your mind now starts going to what next. If you are not now intentional about that, what next? If you don't have like permit me to use the word, a roadmap that you are following, like, okay, so we want to achieve this. After we achieve this, this will be the next thing we're achieving. Sometimes you have a roadmap and the roadmap changes. For example, I before I came into this house, I don't know what the house looks like. I'm standing at the door and I've told myself that, oh, once I go in, I am going to turn left and then I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. But then I enter, there's no place to turn left, so I take right. But it is better to have lived intentionally with a plan for when you enter the house than to enter the house without a plan. And I think that's what makes a difference, really. So it's not just about moving from goal to goal. It's about being intentional about moving from goal to goal. Have some people say, "Oh, nobody knows tomorrow." I agree, nobody knows tomorrow. But then, from today, you know what you want your tomorrow to look like. Have a plan for that tomorrow. Do something about it. I saw something on social media recently, and the person was saying that if you want to if you want to ride a Lamborghini, you have to um, walk like someone that wants to get a Lamborghini, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the heavens are not going to open and Lamborghini is just going to drop from the sky. No. So
Mhm.
if you're going to live a successful life, you have to live an intentional life that moves towards achieving the goals, the day-to-day goals, the year-to-year goals, the month-to-month goals, the week-to-week goals. I mean, that's how it works. Most of us think about the big ending without the small steps towards the
Mm,
big ending, and
mm,
that's where a lot of people miss it. And that's the difference between the person we will call successful. The person has found a way to achieve the day-to-day goal, one goal to the next, one goal to the next, accumulating towards the bigger goal. But you see a lot of people just that, oh, I want to have um, so I will be referring to adolescents a lot because,
of
of
course.
course, I work with
Mm.
adolescents. I want to have all A's in YX. Okay, that's the overarching goal, yeah. But so, what are the day-to-day goals to achieve that overarching goal? I want to hit $1 million at the end of the year. What are the day-to-day goals to hit that overarching goal? Of course, life is full of surprises. Sometimes things we don't plan for happen. But I have found in my little experience that people that have a plan are more likely to be able to make their way out of difficulties than people without plans. So I would say yes, it's a natural thing for us to move from goal to goal as human beings. However, it is being intentional about moving from goal to goal that makes the difference, not just having that, oh, so what next?
Mm.
No,
Okay, that makes sense.
I'm sure it does.
All right, let's go into goal setting
Okay.
for a moment. All right. So like there are two extreme end, to goal setting, the concept of goal setting. Some people believe that okay, you should set achievable goals. So at least that make you a little happy, and motivated enough to achieve the next goal and the next goal. Meanwhile, some people believe that you should actually set so big a goal that even if you are not able to achieve that goal, you've grown in the process of achieving it. Which of these two philosophy do you believe in?
Hmm. So I'll start by saying that, I mean, when you listen to both philosophies, I mean, you listen to someone who believes in either, explain why they have said it, they both make sense.
True.
Do not, if you set goals you cannot achieve, then you set yourself up for failure. I mean, you start the year by saying, I know I cannot have A, but let me say that I want to have A. just because in your mind you already think you cannot achieve it, you're actually setting yourself up for failure, because a part of you is going to keep feeling like, why are you wasting your time? Why are you trying so hard? You don't have the capacity to achieve this goal. So, I mean, some people now say, instead of saying, I want to have $1 billion, say, oh, I can achieve 500 million. Achieve the first 500 million. That may catalyze you to say, oh, if I could do 500, then I can do more.
Yeah.
And that works. However, the other side is, so if I can achieve 500, how is that a goal?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not a goal. I can sit by myself right now. I mean, even in spiritual parlance, it's not faith. If you can achieve it, what's the point of the faith? I mean, and I feel it's like that. However, some people will say goals are not faith projects. Goals are things that you have sat down, you have looked at, okay, if I am disciplined, if I do this, if I do this, if I do this, I can achieve this. You've structured a step by step approach to getting something, and you know, okay, I can get it. Then the idea of the goal is to discipline you to get it, so that you know that I need to sit with this because I have set this goal. I need to, for example, I set a goal to do more YouTube videos this year.
Mm.
And my wife made me put dates and time to it.
Mm.
And now she has a gun to my head to do what I need to do.
Mm.
I can do the video. However, because I can be lazy also, because I have other activities, the videos may not be priority, or even when they are priority, I may not get to do them. And so I put them on my goals, put them in my schedule to ensure that I do them. That is the idea of a goal.
Mm.
That really is the idea of a goal. Not necessarily unachievable things, because if they are unachievable, why are you setting yourself up for failure? However, the other argument, I mean, the other part of setting a bar for yourself that is so high that it stretches you to reach it. I believe that that is also something important. However, that is something I would say people should do with caution.
Okay.
You understand yourself, you know yourself. How motivated are you? Sometimes we set ourselves up for some things because we know that if we can actually just really stick with it, we can make it happen. But there are some other things that we feel like, okay, as I am now, I cannot achieve this. I need to stretch myself to achieve it. The important thing is understand yourself, understand what you're stretching, and understand that you actually can stretch to it. I
Yeah.
don't know if
Yeah.
I'm making sense. That
Of course.
because for me, it's really counterproductive if you set a goal that you know you cannot achieve. It's counterintuitive.
Mm.
It's not going to achieve. We were saying earlier that productivity
Happiness.
influences
Happiness
happiness
and fulfillment.
and fulfillment. So if you're not being productive, what happens to your emotions? What happens to your psyche? What happens to your psychology? I mean, it begins to affect other areas of your life as well. So, but I would say find yourself is a spectrum. But if you set a goal that you can achieve by just snapping your fingers, then it is not a goal.
Mm. Yeah.
It's not a goal. And if you set a goal that no matter how much you stretch yourself, you know that it is something you cannot achieve, then it's no longer a goal, it's a wish list.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
It's just a wish list. It's not something you know you have the capacity. So there's a difference between I'm setting myself up for the capacity to get this. So I know that what I am doing is I'm trying to build a capacity. I know that I cannot achieve this, but I know the step it takes to achieve that, and I'm building a capacity towards it. I feel like that's a different thing, and it's a goal also.
Mm.
It's allowable.
Yeah.
However, there's some other things that you know that this is not a matter of capacity. This is a matter of level. It's a matter of stage in life. It's a matter of where I am at the moment. You know that it would take a stroke of luck for this to be achieved. You know that it would take, this is something that only 1 in a million can achieve. And you know you don't have the requisite capacity at that point in time. I mean, it's like me waking up today now and saying, by the end of this year, I want to be able to beat, what's the fastest man?
It used to be Usain Bolt.
It used to be Usain Bolt. I want to be able to beat Usain Bolt in a race. I am joking. How many years did it take Usain Bolt to train? I mean, is it possible? Yes. What is the probability of the possibility? It is very rare. So the question is, is that what I want to invest my time and resources into? How? I mean, so I think, I feel like I'm beginning to talk
I
too
think
much.
that's one of the things they say about all things are lawful, but not all things are expedient.
Expedient, yeah.
So all goals are lawful, but
All
not all
of
goals
not
are.
all goals are like.
Yeah.
So for me, is the rich. I mean, one of the things I do is I rate my goals. And when I talk about goal setting to people, I said I break life into different compartments.
Yeah.
So there's your physical appearance, there's your career, there's your spiritual, there's family, there's personal development, and I'm like, in each one of these areas, I have one goal.
Yeah.
One, just one. Because that one is going to carry a lot of subsidiaries. How do you achieve that one? And so I want to focus my energy on something that is important to my development in that area. Because there will be other things that will come up. There will be small, small addendums in the course of the year that you would have to add. You now have to weigh which one should take 80% of my time, which one should take 10% of my time, which one should take 5% of my time, which one should take 0% of my time, which one should I outsource?
Yeah.
So on. There's some goals that are best achieved paying someone else to do.
Yeah.
Like one of the things I did last year was, I mean, I had a goal to write more papers for publication, and it was difficult to achieve with other things I had on my plate. I had a lot of consultancies on my plate, and like, so what did I do? I hired someone who worked with me to write the. So because most times my problem is I'm writing the paper. Writing the paper is not the problem, honestly. It's finding the time to sit to write the paper. So I hired someone who was on my neck, saying, "We need to write this paper, sir. We need to write this paper, sir. Sir, you have this is where you have stopped. You need to do this." Just someone to bring me back to that point of, oh, and it worked for me. I was able to achieve more. If I stayed with just setting the goal around it, it probably would have worked. Because there was something else that was taking 80% of my time, and that thing is what is putting food on my table.
Yeah.
There is no way on earth I'm going to jettison that
For the other one.
for the other one. Unfortunately, most of us are like that. Have you noticed that when you have two things to do, one is personal, one brings money. Which one are you likely to do?
The money.
Somebody else is paying you to do something, and this is your own personal thing. This is what you really want to do.
I can do my own later.
I can do my later. That's what happens to most of us. I mean, and so for me, you have to scale your goals, scale them, understand which one to outsource. Sometimes I feel we have this can do. I think you stretch yourself out, stress yourself out, and at the end of the day, none of the goals are achieved.
Solid. One of the books I read last year, Essentialism. That book basically talks about, how not to do everything, like how to be super selective about the things that you put your
Very
effort into.
important.
So he explains the concept of 80-20. Basically that 80% of the things that we do have absolutely no relevance to the achievement of our goals, and it's just the 20% of the things that give 80% of the results. So it says that, if someone can do what you can do now, like let's say your normal day-to-day activity, if you can find someone that can do it up to, maybe not even up to 100%, maybe 60 or 80%, outsource it.
Yeah. And this is speaking to some of you that are housewives.
Yeah.
You don't have to be the one doing the cooking or the market runs all the time. Hire someone to do it. Save yourself some time. Calculate. I mean, one of the things I did for myself was calculate how much am I worth per hour.
Yeah.
If I spend 1 hour doing this, what is it going to cost me to pay someone else to do it? Is it as much as what I will earn if I invest that 1 hour into something else?
And sometimes it's not even about you doing something with that 1 hour. You may just be thinking, like you may just sit down,
Exactly.
maybe mental work.
Maybe or resting.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think we just we pressurize ourselves through social frameworks of, oh, I mean, this is what you're supposed to do. Some people say, as a man, you're supposed to be a handyman. Guy, I don't have to be the one knocking the nail around in my house. No. Wait, how much is it going to cost me to have someone else to come and knock something?
Yeah.
And that's what the person does. That's how the person earns some money. But if I would pay somebody 10,000 naira to come and fix something in my house, and then I will save myself 1 hour of doing it. That 1 hour, I can achieve something else within that time. I think, but actually, if I'm jobless, why not? I mean, it's not waste of money to go and pay someone else to do that. But most of us aren't,
Mm.
really. Most of us aren't. So, in your goal, I think it's important to layer it, understand, like the 80-20 rule you said, understand which ones are important, which ones are not, and then understand how you want to invest into this thing. And that will help you understand what level of goal you should set. Because by the time you put all your goals together and everything is above the limit, above the limit, above the limit, how much energy are you expending across board?
Mm.
Is it, can you do that across your goals? I mean, like I said, I can't remember all, but I have 8 categories of life that I set goals on. And I'm saying, if imagine I set above and beyond goals across the 8, I'm only one man. I'm only one man. So for me, sometimes we pick one area, and usually I do that in development. So I understand that the goal in this area of my life this year is development. It means stretching myself in this area. But there are some areas of my life that I just want to maintain.
Mm.
If I can maintain this,
Yeah, fine.
I'm fine.
Mm.
So I need to maintain this level so that I can upgrade this level. But
Mm.
trying to upgrade everything at the same time, you spill yourself and you will injure yourself.
Mm.
And I don't. At the end of the day, it's not worth it.
There's a concept, work-life balance.
Balance.
I
Yeah.
think this is one of the things I've had a problem with, so far in my
Yeah.
life. Like, how do you balance, trying your best, trying to do your best, and contribute as much as possible to the people around you, to the
You.
society
Yeah.
at large, and of course your own pocket as well.
Very important.
And how do you measure it? You're trying to do for others at the same time you're trying to do for yourself,
Mhm.
trying to deliver to your employers, and
Yeah.
how do you get to like figure out that balance?
One of the things someone told me, I mean, it's not exactly in line, it's not exactly what you said, but I'll merge it. The person told me, called me, I had just gotten married, and the person said, Manuel, be careful how you give out money.
Hmm.
The same people that help you spend your money today will laugh at you tomorrow and wonder what you did with your money. And I say the same thing about your time because it's a resource you never get back.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. The answer to your question, same thing we'll be talking about goes layering, understanding which one is important per time. And for me, personally, one of the things that come important to me aside work is family. And at some point, I realized that my work-life balance was horrible. So, I'm what you would call a workaholic. Naturally, I just enjoy being busy. When I don't have something to do, I create it.
Hmm.
I just enjoy being busy. I enjoy having more, and I enjoy doing multiple things at the same time. Although some people say that that's a recipe for doing nothing,
Hmm.
and I agree.
Hmm.
But sometimes when you're doing too many things at the same time, you're doing nothing really. But I enjoy it. I enjoy having my hands in different things, and of course, it helps me to schedule. Like, okay, I'm doing 1 hour here. I'm doing 1 hour here. I'm doing, and at the end of the day, I realized that I had no time for myself.
Hmm.
And if I continue like this, I'll have no time for my family. And so I had to find a way to create a balance. And I think that there's no one way to creating a balance. Your balance is you. You're the one that creates your balance. And one of the things I had to do at some point was every time I get home from work, I am home from work. I don't because initially, once I'm home from work, home is extension of work.
Hmm.
I just go to my
What continues?
work continues. I
Hmm.
just continue work, and then but like when I'm home, I'm home. I am home. Then initially, I say I am home. But then when my family goes to bed, I come back out and start working. And then I work overnight. And then I wake up, I sleep like 1 hour, 2 hours, and then I wake up and I'm going out again. I'm like, guy, you're doing yourself. So yes, I balanced work family, but me, I wasn't taking care of myself. So I had to balance that too. And then it came to the point where I realized that, like you said, 80% of what is taking our time is contributing 20% of our success.
Yeah.
And so I found a way to deal with things. And I realized that when you find a way to deal with those kind of things, now I learned this from watching some of the professors I have had to relate with outside Nigeria, and how you see some of these guys have multiple grants they are working on at the same time. And I saw one time I wondered how did these guys do it? And I realized that so they spend time, immerse themselves in a project, get the grant for that project, hire somebody to handle it, they move on to getting something else. They hire a competent person to handle that. So they come back to get feedback. Oh, so what's happening? How are you guys doing? You're going, oh, great. I think you should do this. So they just come back to them for scientific feedback. But the logistic day-to-day runs, they don't get themselves bothered about that. They just hire somebody they feel is competent to do it. And then I noticed that people that achieve more are not greedy people.
They're ready to share.
They are ready to share. But a lot of us are greedy. We want to chop everything by yourself. If you chop alone, you will die alone. And you will die earlier. And so, I mean, that was what I was talking about, hiring someone. I learned to spread. I remember talking to someone earlier this year and I was saying I expanded so that I can focus. So I am diversifying to be able to focus. So I take up some jobs, not necessarily because I need them, but because I need the money so that I can be able to do what I need to do. Because I get some of those things, get some more money, I can finance some of the people I have to pay. And it just makes a lot of sense to me that wait, I've forgotten the question originally.
Yeah, we're talking about 80/20
80/20, okay,
work-life
work-life
balance.
balance. Thank you. I just realized that I've
Yeah.
forgotten. But the point is, I mean, for you to be balanced, sometimes you have to give of yourself. And giving of yourself is not necessarily time, it's finances. To create a balance. If
Yeah.
you're going to still keep achieving what you need to achieve, but that balance is important because, hey, your laptop is not going to keep you warm in the bed at night. If you hug your laptop too much, radiation will kill you. I mean, 50, 10, 30, 40, 50 years from now, what are you going to, when your friends are going to their grandchildren's home, inviting their children over for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, for New Year's celebration, what are you going to be doing? Hugging your work? I mean, the beauty of everything we have is to share it. Why do I'm sorry, but why do Yahoo boys do Yahoo? There's no point of having the Yahoo money without being able to broadcast that I have money. The idea is sharing. But a lot of us are so focused on ourselves. So if you cannot balance your relationship with work and with people in your life, you're in trouble. Serious trouble. And balancing it, I mean, I've shared some of the ways I have watched other people share it and how other people balance and how I balance. But each one of us has to find our own balance. So, but you have to create time for your family. You have to create time for yourself. Because if you don't even create time for yourself, how do you develop? How do you grow? How do you improve? You just become a zombie. You're doing the same thing day in, day out, day in, day out, day in, day out. You want to improve. So you need to create time for yourself. You need to create. And the truth is, 24 hours is never going to increase beyond 24 hours. It's going to be the same 24 hours. I mean, one of the things I told myself was one of my mentors, I really look forward to being like this man. I mean, if I am exactly like him, I am happy. And I look at his life and I'm like, this man is busy. So I look at myself and I'm like, Emmanuel, you're so busy. Then I look at him and I'm like, Emmanuel, you are not busy. And I still find this man is a pastor. Apart from being a very accomplished career person. In his area, he is one of the top 10 in Africa. And if you count 100 people in the world, he is there. And yet, this man has time for his family. Sometimes when I've seen him in meetings and he just says, oh, sorry, I need to pick my phone. My wife is calling me. I'm like, wow. I've seen him. He's also a pastor in a church. I see him attend to members. I'm wondering, how do you do
Out
it?
of the same 24
It's
hours.
24 hours. And one of the things he told me one day is, Emmanuel, I don't have time for TV.
Mm.
He said, if you're going to do what I do, you're going to sacrifice it. And I'm like, ha, sir, I like film.
Mm.
I didn't say that out, actually. You don't want to look bad. But in my head, I'm like, I like TV. But the truth is, everyone sacrifices something. And for me, that sacrifice is important. You cannot, most of us are greedy. We want to have it all. You want to have all the money, you want to have all the people, you want to have all the access. No. And sometimes this is where collaboration comes in, working with people. But most times we're not ready. Like, that Yoruba adage that says, when your yam, for lack of a better, when your yam blue, you cover it up. I'm like, my brother used to say something that it's because the yam do not blow very well.
You blow everywhere.
If the yam blow very well, you cannot cover it.
Yeah.
But we have that mindset. Oh, I know it's for me. It's for me. Come on, share.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way you go forward. If not, you remain at that level.
Because it's sacrifice. In the book I mentioned,
Yeah.
It's actually quite funny how the laws of success work sometimes. They work. They are like incongruent, like in harmony. You listen to one speaker talk, you listen to another speaker talk, but there's a lot of elements of what this one is saying and what this other person is saying. You call it sacrifice. The guy that wrote the book, he called it trade-off.
Yeah, basically the same thing, just different.
For you to be able to maximize and optimize your life, you need to make a lot of trade-off.
Yeah.
So
very important.
maybe sacrifice TV for a better achievement,
better time with your family, for a better time with, or for an extra hour to spend on your work.
Yeah.
And sometimes we don't. There was one time I sat down, I calculated the amount of time we spend on TV.
True.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
But let's now leave TV. Let's now go to social media, Instagram. Just scrolling, TikTok.
Yeah.
Just scrolling. Before you blink, 1 hour pass. Usually, I just want to relax. And then 1 hour, you could spend
one productive hour.
Just this scrolling. And this has happened to me a few times. I mean, sometimes in the night, and I'm like, so I just said, oh, I'm stopping work so that I can sleep early. And I'm like, oh, to go to sleep, I pick my phone, which is a very terrible habit, because the rays from the phone actually stop you from sleeping. I pick the phone and I'm scrolling, just and then you just look up, 2 o'clock. Now. And I'm telling myself, man, you could have spent that, if you were not going to sleep, you could have spent that 2 hours on the work. Or spent it sleeping so that you can wake up refreshed in the morning. The point is, I mean, trade-off is important. And I mean, you cannot, don't be greedy. 2024, if you will promise yourself anything, don't be a greedy human being. Don't sit on everything. Share. I mean, it's interesting, like you said. I mean, sometimes the law of success works in opposite directions. To have more, you have to give.
Yeah. It's more blessed to give.
It's more blessed to give than to receive. Like, but everybody is like, just bring. Like, look left and right, bring to me. No. Sometimes you have to give so that you can get more. I mean, the Bible also says that the gift of a man makes way for him.
Yeah.
The only way your gift makes way for you is when you give the gift. If the gift is in your pockets.
Yeah. That's powerful.
Yeah. And the gift can be two things. The gift can be your skill, and it can be an actual gift.
Yeah.
I mean, you give gifts to somebody, please. Come on, we're all human beings. Somebody give you gifts. The person enters your good book naturally. True. And that makes a way for the person. I mean, somebody shares their talent with you, they share their skills with you. It makes a way for them. But that gift is not to be kept, it is to be shared. If you hoard everything you have, you cannot go anywhere. You hoard information. Some people are just very interested. I remember in school, some people will have material. I mean, those of you students, come on, grow up. When we have material, they now hide the only one that we have is, I mean, how useful is it in the scheme of things now? All those materials you were hoarding from your classmates. Okay, have they made you the millions now? Share information. Like, some people will see job opportunities instead of sharing with the friends that me too, I want to apply. I remember myself and my one of my mentors were talking recently. There was a consultancy, and I sent it to her, and I was like, "Oh, have you seen this? That I think you are very suited for this position." And she's like, "Oh, great, you uncle." I said, "I might have applied. I'm just sharing with you." But I mean, a lot of people, it's like I'm applying. My boss is applying for the same thing. Of course, my boss is more likely to get it, but why not? Because if the point is, if one of us gets it, it's within. If you think like that, it's within
Mm,
the family,
mm, mm,
and I'm the one that shared it with the person won't forget me. If
mm.
opportunity comes up in that place, why not?
There's a particular lyrics that came to my mind right now. You might not have listened to the
Hmm.
music. This song by Buju and Reminis. He said, "If I never score, I'll at least make the assist."
Yeah,
So if I
yeah.
don't have the opportunity to score, at least let me
Let me
assist you
assist you to
and reach the
score.
goal.
My name will enter book. Say
Yeah,
at least assist.
yeah.
Come on, me. But a lot of us are just so full of ourselves, greedy. And I mean, there's that mentality, there's this mentality these days of this self love, selfie, self something. Everything is self, and
Self-driven.
self driven. We've just gotten into the space where we feel like we can achieve things by ourselves. Are you joking? Are you joking? Some people
Mm.
say I'm self taught.
What does that even mean?
What does that mean? You did not know it, then you taught yourself. How? How did you teach yourself if you did not know it?
Mm,
Somebody wrote the book you
mm,
read.
mm.
Somebody wrote did the video you
Somebody
watched.
started YouTube.
Somebody started YouTube. I mean, come on. I say I'm self-taught. You watch somebody's video to
Mm,
learn.
mm,
If you are not self-taught, you are village taught.
mm.
If anything,
Yeah,
can we get out of? Can we get over ourselves and realize that the world was created to be shared?
yeah.
Was created to be shared. One of the things that's killing us in the world mostly is greed.
Mm,
It's great. Somebody has something, wants to have more. It doesn't matter who dies.
yeah.
They want to have more. That's the problem with the world.
All right. So the next question I would love to ask you. I know you also believe the same way you mentor me. You also have like a lot of people that mentor you as well.
Yep.
You know, and I actually really believe in the concept of
Mm-hmm.
mentorship. Like I said at the beginning of the program, standing on the shoulder of
Of
giants,
giants, yeah.
right? And I also know that okay, the same way you are mentoring me now, you have other people you also mentor. So the question I would love to ask is, what are the three most important lessons that you've learned from your mentors, and what are the three most important lessons you've learned from your mentees?
Three most important things from my mentors. One, they've been where I am.
Yeah,
They figured it out. I can figure it out with their help faster.
yeah,
That's the first thing. The second thing is they always know something I don't.
mm,
Always know something I don't. Something could be someone, could be information, it could be anything. But they always know something that I don't. And the last is they love me, but I'm not a priority.
mm,
If I want value, I have to go for it. I cannot sit and wait for them to come for me. I mean, like a lot of people are these days. I can't even begin to count how many people come to my office. So I mostly teach postgraduate students. And they will knock on your door and say, Sir, I like the way you talk. I would like you to mentor me. And you're like, oh, okay. I mean, because I've seen a lot of these things, I'm like, okay, um, I mean, I'm happy. I enjoy really pouring into people. So how about, okay, so do one, two, three things. And then when you come back, we talk. That's the last time you see most of them. They never come back. They're always waiting for you to come for them. I mean, one of the things I learned from my mentors is if I want real value from them, I have to go for them. These
yeah,
guys are, the fact that they are my mentors, these guys are busy. They're not jobless people waiting for me to come. No. If I want value, I have to go for the value. They love me, but I'm not their priority. They have their lives.
mm,
From my mentees, similar things, different context. First thing is, my mentees know something I don't
yeah,
as well. Just because someone Just because I am mentoring someone doesn't mean that I know everything more than they do. No, it doesn't. One other thing I have learned from my mentees, well, maybe not from them directly, but from relating with mentees, is I have learned to share,
Mm.
and share in two ways. Number one, share of myself, and number two is share with other mentors. So sometimes you have, so I'm an academic person. I mostly think in zeros and in ones. I think empirically because I'm a researcher. So when you're talking to me, I'm looking at what's the evidence to support what you're saying. That's the way I think. But I have mentees who think differently. And so sometimes I seek advice from other people on what to do about a mentee, or I direct a mentee to someone else. But you see, some people have this mindset of, you are my mentee, you cannot talk to somebody else.
Mm.
You talk to me. Like, no, I don't, just because you are my mentee doesn't give me sole proprietorship to your life.
Mm.
No. So I have learned to, because when a mentee goes to someone else and they talk to someone else and they learn from that person and they talk with you, they share what they learned from that person, and sometimes you gain from it as well. So I've learned that in sharing your mentees, sometimes you gain great value. I mean, if you're sharing with the right person, sure.
Yeah.
Sometimes you share with some other mentors that all the building you'll be building, mentor will just will just finish it for that
Yeah.
person. One final thing that I think I have learned from um, having mentees is you're a better person when you give. And how do I mean? It's one way, one example. Guy, as much as I want you to succeed, I don't want to fall behind either.
True.
So, as I am hoping, talking to you, praying for you that you succeed, I am doubling my efforts to make sure I succeed. Because the moment I stop being successful, I stop being relevant to you.
Mm. Wow.
I stop being relevant as a mentor. So, being a mentor for other people has actually been a drive for me to keep up the good work.
Mm.
So, for example, you and I were not in the same sector,
Yeah.
but I'm still relevant. Why? Because I'm doing well where I am.
True.
But if I was not doing well, if I was not good at what I do, I will not be relevant. We will not be sitting down having this conversation. And so I've realized that being a mentor to people, and if you're here listening and you've found it difficult to take people under your wings and mentor them because you're afraid of sharing of yourself, trust me, you're actually denying yourself opportunity to grow. You're denying yourself opportunity to develop. You're denying yourself opportunity to be a better person. One of the things I have learned is when you give of yourself, you're actually pushing yourself to do better at what you do. And that's the third thing I have learned from mentees.
I think that last part also comes with a level of insecurity and fear of not
Yeah,
wanting to be seen as imperfect.
yeah, yeah, yeah. A lot of people don't like to be seen as imperfect, but that's the idea.
I think we'll have to realize that at the end of the day, even your mentor is still on the journey.
Still on a journey. And I mean, like I say about pastors, pastors are men of God, not God of men.
Mm.
They are men. The first thing is men. Your mentor, me, if you're trying to play with words, mentor starts with men. They are
Mm.
men.
That's deep. Yeah.
They are men. I mean, they're just walking the path as well. And the truth is, I mean, I feel like woe betide the person that has one mentor.
Mm.
Woe betide a mentee that has one mentor. It's not good for you. I'm sorry. It's not good for you. Because the mentor will talk. Every advice I give you is based on my experience and exposure. My advice to you is limited by my exposure and my experience. I cannot advise you beyond my exposure, beyond my experience. And so if you limit yourself to me, it means you've limited yourself to my exposure, to my experience. You need beyond me if you're going to do better than me.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's why sometimes you find some parents, they cage their children. Come on. If your children are going to do better than you have to release them. You have to realize and come to the come to understand that you cannot be the only influence in their lives. Because the moment you're the only influence in their life, you've limited those children. If you're the only influence in your mentee's life, you've limited that mentee. And if you have subjected yourself to one mentor, you're limiting yourself. So it's important to understand that what I lack in strength, you have another mentor that makes up for it. I have one mentor that you're on your own, essentially. This mentor gives you platforms, can open any door for you as long as they have the power to open it. But you see, to walk you through that door, you're on your own. The moment they open the door, they walk away. You're on your own. Whatever you do with that door, it's on you. But I have another mentor. They don't open doors. They don't know how to open doors. But see, when a door is open for you, they can help you navigate that door. So we combine the two of them. You open door, you navigate me through the door. And then you see, I come out looking good. It's because I have good people backing me that I have decided to play on their strengths. As a mentor, understand that you have your weaknesses. As a mentee, understand that your mentor has weaknesses.
Yeah.
Play on their strengths.
Yeah.
Play to their strengths.
The final note. What message of hope do you have to the young ones out there, just starting out in life? They've not figured out life yet, are still trying to, try their hands in on so many things. Let's say they are in their exploration
Yeah,
phase,
phases. Yeah.
and everything looks so gloom and confusing right now. What message of hope do you have to them?
So, this phase that you're going through of not being sure of what you want to do. Interesting. Before we started this. I had a long call with a young person that was trying to make a career decision. She's confused of what to do, and there are a lot of people in that phase. And to start with, a lot of us went through the same process. I don't think there's anyone that didn't go through that process. We went through the period of uncertainty, and the truth is, we all go through some degree of uncertainty throughout life. There's still some decisions I need to make that I am still uncertain. There's some decisions my father has to make that he's still uncertain about. We go through different levels of uncertainty at different phases of life. One thing you have to understand is it gets better. It gets better. As long as you don't get stuck in one place, keep moving. Don't stay in one place. Keep moving. Keep moving. I mean, one of my favorite examples is the story of Abraham's servant in the Bible when he sent him to go and look for a wife for Isaac. He made a statement, said, I being on my way, the Lord led me. Don't stay in one place. See, a static car, no matter how fine the car is, cannot be directed if it is on one point.
Yeah.
If you turn the steering 360, it will not move. It will not turn to the left, nor to the right, because it's a static. But when you are moving, it's easier to find your way when you are moving. Take the next step. Figure out step by step. And let me say this, it makes more sense retrospectively.
Mm.
Those of us that have gone ahead, we make a lot of sense now because we are looking at our life retrospectively. When we're going through some of the experiences we narrate, they were not making sense either. It gets better. Just don't stop. Keep moving. Keep moving. Surround yourself with positive people. Surround yourself with people that will tell you the truth. Surround yourself with mentors. And very importantly, never, ever lie to yourself. Be true to yourself. Be truthful. Always tell yourself the truth. Always know why you are doing what you're doing. Always don't tell yourself, oh, if someone will say, oh, I want to do this. Why do you want to do this job? I want to do this job because I want to help people. If you want to do this job because you want the money, I
Mm.
mean, be honest with yourself that this job is not about passion, it's not about anything, it's about money. So you know what energy you put into it. This one is about passion. I may not get money from it, but I like this. I really want to do this. It just helps you understand and flow better within the period you have. So please, guys, be true to yourself in everything you do.
One of my favorite line is from a tape that I listened to one time. It said, for a cup, if the cup is filled up, for it to accommodate more water inside of it, you have to pour what's inside out
Out.
to other people.
Out.
And I'm very grateful to you for giving yourself wholeheartedly and actually mentoring a lot of us because I'm not the only one. Yeah.
Hmm.
You mentor a lot of us, and you actually give and give yourself and invest a lot into us. Thank you very much, and I'm grateful, and I hope that will continue to make you proud.
Yeah, I really hope so too. I mean, and I hope that I would never get become irrelevant to
No,
you guys. I mean, it's for me. I think it's a honor both ways. It's when people subject themselves to listening to you, it's not something you take for granted, and something I'm grateful for as well.
thank you for being on the show. Thank you.
You're welcome.